So, Matt, this was my parish when I lived in New York.
Yeah.
I moved to New York, I'd never been here. And one of the things I really liked about it was there was something in all of the stewardship materials that was about finding home.
Right.
And this was it for me. This was the first church that I had visited in New York where both a layperson and a priest greeted me and said hello to me. And
Cool.
it was just really nice to have that, like, when I had no idea where I was, what I was doing. You told me, welcome, and then you said, we're not who you think we are. Who did you think that I thought you were?
Well, we're a parish on the Upper East Side, and we're a neighborhood church, and we're right on Central Park. So you think, well, maybe we're not so diverse, maybe we're not so open.
Yep.
And as a place, we want to be open, church facing outward, and a way in which people make connections to each other and to God. As that's who we want to be. We tell our story in a way that would mean to be aspirational about who we're called to be and who we're called to invite.
I picked this place as one of the places I was going to visit because it has an admittedly different, I guess I would say, name. It's the Church of the Heavenly Rest.
Right.
And it used to be known, no longer, as what the Celestial Snooze, the Church of the Heavenly Dressed.
Right.
Am I forgetting any
No,
any good names? That's it.
Those are both of them, right?
Having heard that after the fact, I was like, wow, that is not who they are. They dress fine. Yeah, people, I don't, but people did.
Come as you are.
Exactly.
In all senses of that
I love
phrase,
it.
Right?
One of the things about blessing is that I kind of feel strongly that you can do indiscriminate kind of blessing all the time as an individual, and you should. And as an institution, you sometimes need to know what you've been blessed with before you can really effectively go out and bless someone else. Exactly.
Right.
So, who is Heavenly Rest?
Well, I think every parish has its own DNA.
Sure.
We're part of the wider Anglican communion, we're part of the Episcopal Church, we're part of the Jesus movement, and we're proud to be so. And we were started after the Civil War by veterans. New York City was in bad shape, really divided. Our first ministry was a soup kitchen. And so what we did first was to look out and to serve and to connect out to a city that was in trouble and try to help bring it back together in some ways. And so the sense of reconciliation and taking risks for God's future is who we are. And so over the last couple of years, we've told the story a lot about how we are salt and light together.
Why did you pick that particular one for here?
When we think about being salt and light as caring for each other, about recognizing the remarkable gifts God's given us, and building bridges to the world.
I like that. It makes me, it feeds my ego a little bit. Not that I need it. You didn't know me from Adam when I got here.
Right.
Could have just been a random guy who showed up. I was a random guy who showed up. The first thing you did after that conversation was invited me to have lunch.
Yeah.
And we sat and talked, and you said, "What is it you want to do with us?
Right.
What can we do together?"
Right.
And I feel like so many times before that, it had been like I'm a frightened deer. Don't get too close. Like this millennial kid could run away.
Right.
So let's not scare him away.
Right.
Or it's, please come to this. Please teach Sunday school. We need Sunday school teachers immediately. And it wasn't that. It was an honest look at knowing that I had a gift, as every one of us has a gift, and trying to get to the bottom of it and trying to find out how we can work together. And I found that it was a watershed moment for me. It changed my entire outlook on ministry, so good job.
Makes me feel good. That's what we hope. Everyone has amazing gifts. God is with you. And too often church tries to talk about institution first.
Yeah.
Here's the committee we need you to join.
Right.
Rather than, so where is God in your life right now?
Right.
And what things do you have to offer back to the world as well as to community? And so that invitation is so important, and sense of blessing as being something we receive from everyone who walks in the doors. Our doors are open 98 hours a week. And so we get people who come in from the park because they've been running, get parents and kids in strollers, get people who have come from the hospital who are having the worst day of their lives, and sometimes the best day of their lives. And God's with all those people. And so every person has something to offer back to the world because that's what God's given them. And we hope we have something to offer them as well.
You do. You really do. Tell me about some of the ministries that you and the good folks at Heavenly Rest do that are kind of informed by your knowledge of yourself as a place that's been blessed with the ministry of reconciliation and the ministry of hospitality.
Well, the first thing we do is pastoral care. We care for each other because that reflects Christ's abundant love for us. And when we do that, we know we can do anything. When people know they're safe and they're loved, everything is possible. So that's what we do first, every day. And try to do for anyone who walks in. People have been here their entire lives, and people who walk in for the very first time. New Yorkers from all over. No one's from here, actually, right? We're all from some other place.
Your accent tells me that you're probably from New York.
Yeah, deep New York accent, and southern New York, adding loneliness in life.
It's real here.
is one of the things people face. And so to be able to connect back to community, connect to each other, connect to God is really important. So pastoral care is the most important thing any day of the week. And then we look out. In the last couple of years, we've been very involved in prison reentry work.
Yeah, tell me more about that.
People coming home, such an amazing moment. It's a moment of redemption. People have been away in prison, come home, and often they're all by themselves. Their stories in life have been difficult. And looking for that next chapter, and how in that next chapter they may find a new purpose and new meaning in coming home. It's changed our parish.
Yeah.
We hope we've helped. We know it changes us.
That to me is the root of blessing, as it's kind of described in the way of love. It's the giving unselfishly. And it's not just funds, but time. On the Upper East Side, I know that everyone here is scheduled like 8 years in advance.
Right, exactly.
Easily. That is a premium here to be able to get folks to drop what they're doing and come in the evenings and not only like really help the community, but work on themselves in the process.
It's a mutual blessing. The generosity of people's time is remarkable. The generosity of folks' spirit who are coming home, who share that with us, is remarkable too. That they trust us in a life which maybe trust has not been the central thing that's happened to them is pretty incredible.
So what's next for Heavenly Rest?
Keep looking outward. We are reimagining our children's ministries. Our zip codes, we have 60,000 kids.
How did you find that out, by the way?
We just looked it up. I know y'all are doing asset mapping.
Yeah.
And so one of our assets is schools. One of the deepest human yearnings to be able to raise your kids in a community where you know you're loved, where you're safe, where your kids are recognized for their gifts, and where you have mentors who can support what you're doing as parents. Parents, no one provides a handbook. And so to have people who help guide you, support you through that path is an amazing thing. We're trying to do that.
Great. And that, to me, is just one more step in that blessing thing. You know the neighborhood. You know the opportunities here. You've done the research. And because you know that, you can serve more effectively.
We understand God as being with everybody. We've remade our pedagogy for kids around this idea that every child deserves to know they're loved. Everybody. Not just the kids who show up every week for Sunday school. Every child, every parent. And so we have something to offer. We know they have something to offer us. And again, it's that, you're right, that mutual blessing that informs what we do. To be outside with folks, to know that God's in the neighborhood, not just inside the church. It's not an institutional thing at all.
Right. And people may not know that about the Episcopal Church. even in a building, in a congregation that's blessed with an edifice and a structure this impressive, the church is so much more than that. And sometimes you got to cross the throreshold to start to understand that. But the fact that you guys are working outside of the church walls, it's wonderful.
Our blessing is our people.
Yeah.
Which is why we say we're salt and light.
Yeah.
And the neighborhood is salt and light for us too.
You just got to find out where that salt and light is.
Exactly right.